Hi, welcome. Today I'm going to be discussing my top 4 concealers for mature eyes. Do you have mature eyes? Stay tuned. Hey, welcome to my channel, Clean Beauty Babe with Michelle Spieler. I'm an over 20-year professional makeup artist. I worked for a decade in Hollywood and still do makeup in the production industry out here on the East Coast. So this week I did a call to action on my social media asking women over 40 what they love in a concealer, what they hate in a concealer, or perhaps they've just never found a concealer that they've liked. And overwhelmingly, I think the majority said the same thing. Number one, they were tired of concealers creasing on them. That was their number one concern. Number two, they needed to cover the dark circles, but they didn't want concealer making them look older or making their skin look more dry and cakey. This is the exact reason I have had a love-hate relationship with concealer since my 30s. I don't love it. And even right now, I'm not wearing any concealer and my skin under my eye just looks more youthful. I have a really nice, skincare and eye cream. And while I do have some discoloration, and so to me, my face doesn't look polished, at least I have skin, real skin under my eye. But the minute I put concealer on, yeah, sure, we covered the dark circle, but then now we've got an extra layer on our mature, thinning, crepey skin that will lend itself to looking a little bit older. So what to do? So I have narrowed it down to my top 4 concealers. I'm going to start with 2 that are a light to medium coverage, and then I will take that off and I will do 2 that are a heavier coverage. I'm going to do one side of my face with a luxury brand, another side of my face with the drugstore brand, because I'm trying to be really inclusive of women of all different budgets. Another thing, there are many good concealers on the market, but my criteria is it has to fit into the clean beauty standard. Clean beauty means that the company or the product does not use ingredients that are linked to health problems. So they score very low on a toxicity rating, 1 and 2 being very low, little harm, little risk. 3 and 4, I'm comfortable going up to a 3 or 4, but now we're going into maybe some risks. And anything above 4, you're going to be linked to more risks to your hormones, endocrine system, links to cancer, neuro problems. Okay, so in my 50s, I work really hard on my health, and so clean beauty is always my number 1 criteria. Ingredients are my number 1 criteria. So you might love a concealer from another brand, but it might have a very high toxicity rating, which is why I steered away from it, okay? Let's get started. So I will start with drugstore. The first concealer that I really love in light to medium coverage, but you can also build the coverage to slightly more medium, is the Neutrogena Radiant Cream Concealer. It's really nice, and I'm going to show you how I use it so that you can know yourself. And pardon me, but I don't have my little beauty blender. I am not a big fan of beauty blenders. I like putting my BB cream on with my fingers. If I do a little bit of foundation through here or here, I use my fingers. But what's nice about the mini beauty blenders, and I have these by Real Techniques, and I will link those in the episode description, but they really get in very close to that inner eye, and it's really nice. We mature girls only want to put concealer where we absolutely need it. Okay, so if you don't need concealer out here, do not put it in the outer eye. Now, most of us get creases, okay? We get some creases right under here. And what that is our lower eyelid meets our under eye. And so these little ridges, little creases start to happen. So the reason concealer ends up in that is because you're putting a liquid or a cream on skin. Skin is warm, right? We have a certain temperature to our skin. Skin is warm. Then we have creases, liquid and cream start to melt, start to travel. We have thin skin around the eyes, and think of how much the skin around our eyes moves daily, right? We're constantly blinking, we're closing our eyes, we're sneezing, we're coughing, we're talking to people, we're laughing, constant movement. So liquid cream mixed with temperature, mixed with creases, means it all travels to the creases. Here's a little hack I'm gonna teach you. You're never gonna prevent creasing. So let's just get that out of the way right now. I'm gonna always tell you the truth. I'm always gonna be really blunt with you. Very, very hard to use a concealer without creasing. Okay, now some of you oilier gals who don't have creases under the eyes and you can pat it with powder, sure. Some of you can prevent creasing, but most of us we can't. You can always take your pinky finger, go back under there and kind of tap it back out. I do that periodically through the day. If I see concealer in a crease, I go in and I tap it back out. It's about all you can do. Sorry. Okay, so Neutrogena Radiant Cream Concealer. I'm putting it just where I need. Do you see right there? Just where I need it. And then what I like to do is I'll take my pinky finger, because my pinky finger is tinier and can fit under my eye a little bit better. Don't forget to go up to the inside. We get a little vein that runs up here and you can just pat it right out. But that looks great. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. And now I can take my beauty blender and kind of pat it in. And to me, that covered well enough. It's sheer. In person, it looks pretty. It looks like skin. And so that's why that made one of my top 4 concealers. Now, I'm going to show you a more luxury product on this side, and I would say it's also up to a medium coverage and also on the creamy side. This is the new Beauty Counter Skin Twin Creamy Concealer. I've been using this for about 3 weeks. It's really nice. Again, we're gonna go only where we need it. Okay, we're not gonna be like the young girls all over YouTube that are putting big V's and big stripes all over our face. Only where we need it, mature girls. And then I will take my finger again. It's hard to use the phone as your mirror, but sometimes it's necessary. Don't forget to go up to inside, kind of blend it into the shadows or the eyelid up there. And then of course you can take your beauty blender. Now, to me, the Beauty Counter has a little bit more coverage. I don't know if you can see that, but also in person looks hydrated and pretty like real skin. Now, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Most concealers, the first hour, look pretty good. They can look pretty hydrated. They can look like real skin, but what happens through the day? They start to dry out. They start to move to the creases. They start to get that dry, craggly look that we all hate. So these 2 concealers, the Beauty Counter and the Neutrogena, I would say halfway through the day, maybe 4 hours into it, I would start seeing a little bit of the dark circles slowly start to appear. This was somehow wearing off a little bit, but it is a medium coverage, light to medium coverage. You can build it. They're both buildable. And at the end of the day, it no longer looked like my own hydrated skin. It looked like I had a little bit of makeup under the eye, but that's just the nature of concealers. You can't have that, you know, glowy, hydrated skin under the eye and have makeup. It's one or the other. So you have to just accept, do I want to have hydrated, naked skin under the eye, or do I really want to cover that dark circle and then I have to just make a compromise and know that I'm not going to look quite as hydrated? That's really your choice. But I'm just here to tell you that concealers do crease and they do travel. Now, you can take a tiny, tiny brush and using the tiniest amount of powder, and I mean tiny on a tiny brush, you can go in and only where you crease, put a little bit of powder. okay? You can do that. And that's gonna look different for everybody. You have to be your own guinea pig, and you have to decide if you like how that looks. It will prevent a little bit of creasing for a while, but again, halfway through the day, I still noticed both concealers slightly gathered in the crease. So what did I do is I take my pinky finger and I just reblend it out. Boom, done. It's all reblended, okay? That takes seconds. It takes seconds, lady. Instead of complaining about your creaseless concealer or wiping it off, take your pinky finger and redistribute that concealer that's caught in there and blend it back in. It takes seconds, okay? Another thing that you can do is you can take a setting spray. I usually spray it on the back of my hand. Okay, you can see, can you see? Yeah, you can see right there. Okay, and then you can also take a tiny bit of setting spray, and now you can go in and go over that powder. And that is also an option for you, okay? This is the Radiant Finish by NYX. I love it. I'll use it on my whole face, look. I love it. So they also make a matte finish if you're an oily gal, but this is the Radiant Finish by NYX or NYX. I will also put that link below. Okay, and for links below, what that means is if you click on the title of the show, all of the products I use will pop down and you'll see links if you choose to order. And if you don't, that's okay, because I'm here for everyone, whether you order or not. Okay, I'm gonna take this off. I think this looks great. I think it looks great. I think it looks creamy. I think I still look youthful. Do I love concealer 8-9 hours later? No, I don't. It's just a love-hate relationship, but concealer just goes with the territory. If I'm gonna do my whole face, if I leave concealer off, something's gonna look off. It's not gonna look polished. So you have to decide what your priority is. For me, my priority is I do have pink and purple right here, and I do like to cover it. And so I choose to take a hit in the concealer department where at the end of the day, maybe it doesn't look quite as like skin, okay? I'll be back. I'm gonna take this off and I'll come back with my fuller coverage for mature eyes. Okay, I'm back. I removed the concealer and you can see I have the kind of reddish brown, purplish discoloration under both eyes. And I have this little kind of red spot appearing. So I'm gonna cover that as well. Okay, let's just jump right to the top two picks for heavier coverage. I'm going to do drugstore on this side and luxury on this side because that's what I did the first round. And I'm not gonna talk about all the other tricks because we've already discussed it, and you can do those same tricks on this side with the heavier coverage. Okay, so what I really love for drugstore and heavier coverage is the Milani Conceal and Perfect and Conceal, okay, Milani. I love Milani. This scores like a 2 on EWG.org. It's very safe and low in toxins. It has a nice heavier coverage. I wouldn't call it heavy, but it's heavier. It stays creamy looking, and it is only $8.99. So I thought a lot of women could really appreciate that. I am the color, I think, vanilla. And it also has a tiny little applicator. I really like that. So I'm just, again, putting it only where I need it, right? Only where I need it. It's so hard looking into. Going up into the eye area. My eyes have been tearing a little bit this morning. I think allergies. So I'm gonna go in this outer corner because I got kind of reddish. Do you guys ever get that? And then I'm going to take the Beauty Blender. And I'm just going to blend that out. Now, with the Milani, what I noticed is it looked beautiful. Again, the first hour it looked like skin, stayed pretty, it concealed, it stayed creamy, it looked like skin. I would say 3-4 hours into it, I did see it start to get in the little creases, so I did my trick. I took my warm finger on my warm face and just lightly pressed it back in and redistributed any creasing. I don't know what else to tell you, because even if you powder, it still can crease. And the older you get and the more lines you get, you're just gonna have creasing. You just are, ladies. There's just no way around it. But in order to conceal the dark circles, you have to go heavier. And if you go heavier, then that's a whole extra layer revealing, you know, flaws around the eye. So we have to choose what is our real priority. Pick one priority. If your top priority is concealing dark circles, then you're gonna have to go heavier. If your number one priority is to look as young and hydrated under the eye as possible, then I recommend a really good eye cream using only a tiny bit of concealer where needed. It's not gonna cover as well because it's gonna be more on the sheer to medium side, but you will have healthier looking, more youthful skin under the eye. You have to pick and choose. You can't have both. I'm so sorry. I wish you could. Trust me. This is not only my personal experience, but experience from women in my makeup chair. I've done all ages, all ethnicities for over 20 years. This is just what happens as we get older, okay? So we just have to accept it and choose our priority. Now, the winner for the heavier coverage in the luxury category is something I had been reading a lot about. I bought it a couple weeks ago and I absolutely love this product. I really love it. It's the Tarte creaseless concealer. Now I've used the Tarte Shape Tape. The Tarte Shape Tape is not a clean beauty product. It scores much higher on the toxicity level, but also I only have a few Shape Tapes in my professional kit and I only use it on really oily girls under like 35. If they're really oily, I will use Shape Tape. If they are over 40 and oily, I will not use Shape Tape. Shape Tape made me look like 90 years old within 2 hours. So I love it in my pro kit. There is a place for it. It's great for oily women. If you're over 40, but you are of a certain ethnicity where you just don't have a lot of age around the eye and you're oily, it could be great, okay? You get to decide. This is your face. You get to decide. But I love this creaseless concealer by the Tarte because it stays pretty darn hydrated looking, and boy does it cover. Now the one thing is, it is thick and tacky. You have to blend this very quickly. So we are gonna go in, and I probably put too much on. Look at that, broke my own rule. I probably needed 2 dots and I probably did 5 or 4. Come up into here. Don't worry if it's not blending right away because we have this. And I'm gonna come out a little bit right here because like I said, my eyes have been tearing today from the weather and they're driving me nuts. So I did get a little. So do as I say, not as I do. I put too much on, but that's the nice thing. This tube is gonna last you forever because you need like 2 drops. 2 drops are so thick and concentrated that you really just put it right where you need it on the dark circle, blend it in with your finger, take your mini beauty blender and kind of tap it in. And then anything I have left over, I'll take around my nose or chin. So do you see how hydrated that looks? Isn't that nice and hydrated? I will tell you that when I came to check this in an hour, there might have been the tiniest creasing. When they say creaseless, this is probably the one concealer that has creased the least on me in all of my years, and I'm 53. I would just go up with my finger, again, warm finger on a warm face, and I would just kind of redistribute any product that got caught in my crease. But what worked better for this than the Milani is the Milani also went into tiny little creases of creepiness, and this didn't. This really stayed put. The only time I got a little bit of creasing was right here where the lower eyelid meets the under eye, and you get a couple little creases, and I would just re-pat it out. But what I love about this is 4 hours in, no dark circles appearing. At the end of the day, I still had a little bit of that hydrated glow that looked like skin, and I was like, wow. Now, once I even tried powdering it and I did the setting spray tool, this product did not like this. Now, you could try it and see if it works for you, but when I left this product completely alone under the eye, it did its best work. When I tried to powder it or put a setting spray on it, it started to separate. It did not work well with that technique. So I like this because now that's one step. I don't have to go in with powder or setting spray. Now, if I want to mist my whole face, that's a different story, but I love this product, and you could take it anywhere on the face. I have a big pimple down here somewhere because that's super fun to have wrinkles and pimples at the same time. But do you see that? It just kind of highlights my eye. The Milani's nice too, don't get me wrong, but I really, really am impressed with this Tarte Creaseless. So I will put everything in the description. You can just click on the video title and the description comes down and you will see links for everything that I used today. Again, this is just the 4 that worked best for me. And I would use this on anyone in my pro makeup chair. In fact, I'm going to start now investing in all the colors because I'm gonna start using this in my pro kit because it's that good. It's amazing. So let me know if you try anything. Let me know if you like it. I hope I did a great job explaining which one would be best for you. And again, just because it works for me and it works for the women in my makeup chair doesn't mean it's the best of the best. It just means as a professional, it's what I want to use, and it's what I want to use on my own face. And I hope that that helps you. I really do, because I'm really here to help women over 40 look and feel their best. And sometimes too much makeup just ages us. And so less is more, right? And I really want to help you learn those little teeny tips and techniques that can help you feel your best and look your best without aging, without makeup aging you. Skincare is number 1. Drinking water, huge, drinking water. If you're interested on mature skin around the eyes, let me know in comments and I could come back and do a video on what's really going on under our eyes. Some women have those puffy little, they have those little puffy bags. Some women have huge deep indentations. We didn't even talk about that today, but you can see right here when I look down, do you see those indentations? But when I look up, they're gone, okay? And I'm gonna even turn off the ring light for a minute and look. You can't cover indentation with makeup. Those are dents in our face because our eyeball is sinking into our orbital bone. So they leave dents in our face and they're gonna get bigger with every decade. So I'm not trying to depress you, but women are always saying, help, help, I've got these big dents in my, under my eyes. You can't fix dents with makeup. You can conceal it, you can, use good lighting, but dents here, that can only be fixed with filler. And I'm not even advocating filler. I'm just letting you know, if you want to fill in those big dents, you got to use some filler. And I personally am a little afraid of filler under the eye right now. So I will take the dents and do my best to conceal and do my best to use good lighting. And that's all I can do. And the rest of it comes with mindset, feeling really good about the skin you're in, feeling really good about the aging process, good skincare, good sleep, drinking tons of water, eating lots of produce because fruits and vegetables are good for our skin, right? Okay. I hope I didn't depress anyone. I'm really here to champion for you. And let me know in comments if there's anything else that you'd like me to address or teach in my upcoming videos. Bye for now.